Howdy, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. At least I think this is going to air on a Wednesday. I'm not exactly sure when my videos air, but I'm sure of one thing, and I want to say how grateful and thankful I am for you coming back and watching my videos. The last 3 videos have now really found a new audience, and boy, oh boy, am I excited because I want to share more interesting information with you. So what we're going to look at today are my major scores and some of my minor scores from the Don Scott Antique Show, which was Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I go every year because I do participate as a vendor and I do shop before I set up my goods for sale. And I went down with Jeremy and we had a fantastic day. And what you're looking at is one of my best and biggest scores from the show. And it's propped up on a fan that I bought there, a hand fan that's Edwardian. We'll get to this in just a little bit, but this is the teaser to keep you here and come back for the whole video because I'm going to talk about this at the very end. I did find this very early during setup, and we'll talk about this in just a little bit. Let me back this out, and thank you again so much for joining in. These videos are so much fun for me to do. I did find both of these vintage ring boxes there, and I did, when I got home, I had this ring already. It's platinum and diamonds, and absolutely beautiful. So I did not buy this ring down there, but I had purchased a few platinum and gold pieces. A few of them I'm already cleaning, so this isn't a complete video of everything I found from there, but look at that vintage Art Deco platinum and diamond ring. That's just exceptional, but I needed a vintage box to put it in, and I found this celluloid ring box there. I collect these boxes, and you know that. They used to not be very valuable, and now this style is at least $100 now for that incredible kind of trunk-shaped or hump-top ring box celluloid. These are usually made in the United States, so they're made stateside, and they're just very nice, and the colors are great. So anyways, I bought that box down there. Let me set that out of the way. I bought that box down there. I also got this one, and I did buy this ring down there. So this is also a really early kind of transitional between Edwardian and Art Deco ring. You can see how this filigree started to get stylized, but it wasn't angular and heavy-handed like Deco. So this would be transitional Edwardian to Deco, and that stone is definitely European cut, the diamond. And then it has these beautiful I guess you could say square-shaped synthetic blue sapphires, but look at that fretwork in that mounting, and I thought, yes, for a antique and purist collector of fine antique jewelry, that's going to be a very quick sell. So I did get that down there, and I got the box down there, and I did marry the two of them together. You know, I put the ring in the box, but the box is only $10, and I would say, you know, again, maybe it's on this one because it's white, maybe it's like $75 to $85, but anytime you see those celluloids with the heart shape on the inside, pick these up because they are going up in value, and antique and vintage dealers really like those. This was a parcel of I didn't know what, but I walked up on this gentleman and I bagged these up when I got home. We'll only crack open a few of them. There were these 2 stones. It's amethyst and what appears to be an aquamarine. I'll do some further research and make sure those are both genuine and get those out for sale. But I wanted to show you in like transparency, I don't always buy the, you know, $1,000 item. You know, these I bought all, and I'll say, I bought all of these stones for $10 in that bag because everything on his table was $10. So that whole bubble mailer was $10, and he said, I don't know what's in it. Well, there's all these 25 karat gemstone parcels. And for my gemstone lovers, I'll bring some of these for sale. I think retail on, 25 carats of mixed cut blue topaz in gem grade, you're going to be spending $50 or $60 on that parcel, retail or wholesale for 25 carats or more. And there's a amethyst parcel too. Let's see. There's another blue topaz. What is this one? That is African amethyst. We'll look at another one of these, but there's 5 of them. And I just got really lucky when I wandered up. I don't know why my box is so out of focus today. Maybe because I'm panicked to get this video aired. I'll tell you, the last few videos have just went off the charts, and I'm in front of a whole new group of people. So if you're new to me, please know, welcome in, and thanks for trusting me with my information and also entertaining all of you. I'm going to dump these all over. Oh, I already did. I already made a mess. Yep, it's the classic Jason way. Panic-stricken and causing a mess everywhere I go. Look at those for African amethyst, and those are gem grade African amethyst. Very cool. But what I would say is, I don't like those, those terms of like, I forget what they call them, like an adage or something, old adage, like the early bird gets the worm. Who likes that? You know what I mean? So does that mean that every bird is going to starve to death? No, there's just the fact that I shopped a little bit early. I did get some incredible buys, and that's what you're here to see. My best scores from the Don Scott Antique Show. Last year, one of my highest viewed videos was my previous shopping excursion. Some of these things do have prices on them, so I'll kind of hide that because I will be bringing some of these things on for sale. This is a Hamsa hand, and you can do all your own research on Hamsa and what it means. This is sterling silver, but look at the craft on how they carefully set every single one of those glittering stones. I think the vast majority in this are synthetic, but then again, it looks as though the amethyst is genuine, the citrine is genuine, the ruby, it's probably created, the sapphires are a little too even colored, and the green, I gotta do some research. Are they synthetic emerald? Are they green garnet? I'm not sure, but I loved that, and that is definitely gonna be for sale at some point, I would say, on one of our online sales featured on Bully Run website on YouTube, or I should say channel on YouTube. These, I don't remember where these came in from, but they're, I don't think these were the Scots Market. I think these were before I went down, but this was in my box to be sorted. These are great cultured pearls, and look at the variance in those. Again, when you look at cultured pearls, my recommendation is don't rub them on your teeth, but just take them and rub them on each other. So let's take this strand and let's rub them side by side. And there's a resistance there. There's like, I almost call it like a toothpaste kind of grit to them. If you rub them on each other and you feel that slight resistance, that very slight kind of, what do you say? Like almost like a light sandpaper. Those are cultured. If you rub them together and they're just smooth and there's no resistance at all, that means that they're faux pearls. That's the best test for them. Don't rub them on your teeth. Don't put dirty jewelry in your mouth. I've seen so many people pick up a strand of pearls from a pile of virtual garbage at the flea market and stick them in their mouth. And I'm like, didn't your mother ever teach you not to pick up garbage and put it in your mouth? I don't know. It just freaks me out. I'll tell you what, if someone came into my antique booth and put pearls on their teeth, we'd be having a long conversation. That's all I can tell you. And I'm not that difficult, but boy, keep them out of your mouth, This one, I got very lucky, and I'll probably list this on eBay, and it's okay. The price tag's still on it. This is George Jensen, and the dealer had it out for $95, and most of you already know, you're already saying, oh my God, why was it $95? There's the genuine George Jensen, and that's the way we say it in the United States. We say George Jensen, because after all, that's his name. And this is, I don't know why it's not focusing. Why is my camera not focusing today? Oh, there we go. That's as good as I'm going to get for y'all. Let's see here. No, maybe I'll get it. There we go. George Jensen, 925 Denmark. The 127 is the model number for the brooch. I would guess that they probably made this in at least 5 or 6 variations with this quote, cabochon. That's silver, but that cabochon could be amethyst, maybe green onyx, a hematite. Who knows what the variants would be, but there's probably 5 different versions. Stylistically, very Art Deco. Time period wise, probably late 40s into the 50s on this specific brooch with that specific hallmark. Why I show you this is the dealer had it as $95. They sold it to me for $75. I think full retail for a brooch in that condition, original oxidation, I would say probably 175 to 185, and I know that I could get at least 150, so I was safe with doubling my money. Now look at the planished surface here, and people always say, why don't you polish your items? That's why. If you polish this, you kind of would erase all of that kind of hand planished surface. It's not necessarily a hammered texture, it's more planished with a planishing hammer. You know, that's not technically anything but planished surface. And planishing was the technique that was used to put that kind of, quote, hammered surface on the surface of the brooch. Really remarkable design on that. Okay, on to, let's see. Oh, this one was, no, we'll skip over that. Some of these were slightly too commercial. I got lucky, and I did find, I found this there. I don't know what I'm thinking here. This is Tiffany and Company. And there was a pile of silver that was kind of dumped out onto a table, not very well considered. And I wandered up, and this had already been through some hands, I'm sure, because I could sense where other dealers and other vendors had been through, and I most certainly just missed it. And that's okay, we all missed something. I'm sure I probably missed more than I bought. And this morning I had a conversation with a lovely YouTube subscriber of mine, and I told them, I said, I should do a video on all the things that I've made mistakes with. I'd have much more content to talk about. I could do 3 videos a day. Sign down in here, Tiffany and Company, and then the copyright, and then 1995, and then 925. This is a very dirty loop, but you'll just have to excuse it. It's been out on my desk forever. Let me wipe that out. Very dusty, extremely dusty, just like everything else in my house. And I've said it before, no shame in my game. You know, I got no shame in my game. I don't care what it looks like. Down on in here, you're not here for that. You're here to see the hallmarks. Let's see if we can get in on this. I don't think it's gonna do it. Oh, it's almost doing it. Oh, wait, can you see it? Oh, there we go. Wait, maybe we can do this. Come on, team. It's a team effort. There we go. Tiffany and Company. That's as good as we're gonna get. You can see it. That's a genuine Tiffany and Company sterling silver cuff. I don't want to say what I paid, but it was by gram weight, and I guess they just missed it. I don't know how, but I guess they did, and it's a great size. Great finish, great oxidation, 100% genuine Tiffany & Company. Be careful. Tons of reproduction on Tiffany & Company in the world. You can go to other videos as to right and wrong, counterfeit and real. I don't want to get into that. I've always kind of steered clear from designers. I think most of this bag, this came from a pawn shop after the show. This came from a pawn shop. I'll show you. I don't care. I don't know why it's in this box. Oh, I know why. Because I was panicked. That was that cuff that I had already showed. That finished cuff bracelet in sterling. That was great. That was $10. And I said, oh, absolutely. Then I got this classic. I'll reach for some of the classics and some of the more unusual, but that's a very nice early sterling silver and turquoise Native American Navajo cuff bracelet. And I love the way the stones are really set down in those bezels. And craft and attention to detail, solder seams, oxidation, not the best or the earliest, not by any stretch, but definitely wearable and sellable. Sterling chain, and I think I got this one. It's like a 24-inch. I think this one's the 24-inch. This is 24 inches, solid sterling, great rope. I normally wouldn't reach for this or grab this or think anything important of it. The surge in price of sterling chains is definitely apparent. This was $10. No, $12. This one was $12 for 24 inches of solid sterling. Absolutely, yes. Then I got lucky and I found this little Egyptian enamel scarab. I hope I'm going fast enough today. I'm already, am I boring? Let me know in the comments if I'm boring. This is Egyptian and glass enamel with the scarab, and beautiful. I think this one might be 800 and not sterling. I know that's at least 800. Not plated. I love the way the scarab is raised over the surface. So that was a yes, because Egyptian items always sell. I'll say this much. In all of my time of doing this, there are certain things that always sell out. Egyptian is one of them. As I dropped this bracelet, I wasn't sure this was sterling because most are not that look like this. In my experience, they're always silver plated. This one is signed down in. I think this one, where did my loop go? Oh boy, I think this one is Hayward. It is. It's signed Hayward right here and sterling, very small. Hayward and Sterling, very well known company, and that's really wide for a Hayward Sterling, and I love that foliate design. Large flowers, dramatic leaves, scrolls and tendrils, and that beaded border. So if you find stuff that looks like that, normally plated, look for a silver mark on those. Please look for a silver mark. Age on that one being Hayward, it's probably 50s, circa 1950. And then when people say circa dating, I said it gives you 10 years in either direction. So it's 1945 or it's 1955. And then that way no one yells at you. So you stay out of trouble. Mexican sterling perfume bottle, and then a pendant, and this unscrews. It's made in an amphora style. Amphora is the style of that container. So if you Google, ancient amphora, that's the vessels that, were like set down in the sand, I suppose, because obviously, or put into a wrought iron stand, because there's no way that sits like a vase, So a very cool form, and something that very sleek, very high style. And then there's the dauber on the inside, that's sterling silver twisted. I usually stay away from these, but what I've known again is desirable, and people are definitely going after them. And this is very substantial, very heavy. That with the other piece, I think was maybe it was $30. I forget, but that I knew that would sell, and I said to myself, yes, I will buy that. Let's get into the more notable pieces. You've bared with me on some of the more commercial things as I completely struggle to get these things back in their bags, but I don't like a lot of cleanup after my videos. I just don't like it. This was fantastic. Victorian all the way, and look at that lush blue color of turquoise. Not treated in any way, 100% natural, and look at that bright robin's egg blue. When you look for turquoise, that's what you look for. Some people go out on a limb every single time and say, well, that's Persian turquoise. If I hear that one more time, I want to punch a hole in the wall. It's, do we know the exact origin of such stones? Sometimes we don't. Now, I do have Persian turquoise in my collection. I'm not going to comment on where this turquoise came from or quote the coloring or the color of the turquoise. Gold mounting, totally unsigned. Look at the solder seams as I bobble it back and forth. There's a close-up of my dirty hands. So that's, look at the solder seams. There's no and little to no oxidation where that gold is soldered shut. Not signed in any way. There is no, oh wait, is that a signature? Uh-oh. See, I didn't think this one was signed. Look, I just learned something new. Oh, it is. It is signed on the inside. So it is signed with the gold hallmark on the inside, but you could tell by those solder seams. I'm glad I'm slowing down as I go. Is that another hallmark? So is that another maker's mark? What is that? Oh, that might be another little hallmark. I gotta slow down on these, but you can see this hasn't been with me long. Might be another hallmark right there. So go slow, but look at the turquoise stone. As soon as I saw this, I knew it was Victorian, and I said, oh yeah, pre-1900 and an untreated stone in that condition. Yes, all day long. Closed back set too. Really great craft and design. I loved that scrolled shoulder where that shank is. Again, I would say retail, you're at least, oh boy, on that, because the stone, you're at least 300, 400. That's my guess on that one. Now, Something that I really loved, because I've often talked about sets of jewelry. Finding a set of things is always better than finding just the necklace or just the earrings. And we know how the sets get displaced over time. You know, the earrings go with one daughter, the necklace goes with another daughter. Or just within, or, given to, a neighbor, or sets have a tendency to be broken apart. And we see that with jewelry a lot. And when you look at like the Victorian sets, you wonder why the prices on sets go up. It elevates the values. And I found the necklace and the earrings, and the dealer didn't even have the earrings out and brought them out later. And this is Mexican sterling. What is so special about the set is I'll reach for the unusual. I'll reach for the uncommon. And these are shaped and carved amethyst gemstones. So an artist had to go in and work and carve those amethyst stones and then set it in sterling silver. Unsigned. I would circa date this to the late, based on the clasp and the chain, probably the late 1940s. Some people would say, well, it's 1950s. Well, again, circa dating gets us out of a fight and a quarrel, which, like I've said before, no reason to fight over stuff. All these are hand-carved amethyst, and then those beautiful, look at the clasp for Mexican silver, and the construction is fabulous. Note that all of these are soldered shut. See how all the links in between and all these links here are soldered closed? Look at that for construction, please. That indicates a much better, a much better or elevated craft person that knew to solder those closed, and they took time to solder those closed. These disc or ball shapes fully soldered shut as well. So look for that, please, that construction. Now, this has been cleaned over time, so it looks much newer than it actually is. That's why I have a tendency to leave the oxidation on my silver pieces. This is very dramatic. This is very, you can say, important. Unusual, artistic. I did see another necklace that was just, cabochon amethyst, and I just was like, that's so boring. We've seen it so many times, and I just thought, no, I want to elevate what I sell. I want to elevate what I reach for. And at this point in my career, I need to. I'm glad that I'm able to recognize those things. And I did say to someone, I just look at things as an artist. I look at things as a silversmith because that's what my full-time job was supposed to be. And I think that's what separates me from other people in the business, because I understand the language of craft. I understand the language of design. And let's see if I can get this earring off this necklace as I drag it around for 5 minutes. But the craft and the design of that one, I said to myself, yeah, that the way it lays around the neck, you should see this on a neck form, because it lays so beautifully in that repetition of form, that cadence. It's got a certain cadence to it. And I loved the design. So that was a yes all day long. And like I said, I honed in on specifics of what I wanted to buy. And a lot of times, what do I say when how I say it this way is I look for the unusual and artisan made or well-crafted items. This is far more contemporary than what I do. And I think the stone is preonite. I think it's preonite. Some people will say it's moss agate. I don't think that is correct. This is just what I'm going on my limited knowledge of gemstones after 30 years. But I believe this is preonite, and I have always been fond of crystal formations and natural crystal formations in gemstones. The internal inclusions, the artistry of Mother Nature, the artistry of a stone. If it looks like a painting, if it looks like a sculpture, if it looks more than just a stone and transcends just a gemstone, I'm in. You don't need to convince me with a price. You don't need to convince me about talking about a gemstone or how rare it is. This chain as well, as soon as I saw the chain and the way the construction was on this, I was just in. I don't need to explain it any other way, but the finish on the finials, the finish on the chain, how carefully this was pulled through. This is all handmade, pulled through the whole of the drawing mill to draw this down, and it's so smooth. It's like silk. It's just fabulous. And to touch that and to feel quality. The way this was constructed with the articulating bail, that secondary detail of adding wire to the bail, I could talk about craft and construction. This spoke to me from across the room. I said to myself, I'm buying it, you know. I love the beaded border. I love the gemstone, and just large, notable, something. I didn't want to buy something for $30 and then sell it for $60. You know, I just didn't want to. I just wasn't feeling that when I was there. So that I really loved as well. What I tried to do is, again, I tried to buy things that I didn't have. This was just, I happened upon it, and other people say to me, do you only ever buy jewelry? The answer is absolutely not. I buy everything under the sun, and let this be a testament to that. Sterling silver and beautifully crafted sewing scissors. And their only job was to cut thread from a lady who was sewing. Beautiful, beautiful design and fabulous. And this was on a $5 table, and those are sterling silver. And I said to myself, oh, absolutely. Now, there's a whole bunch of other small things that I bought. There's vases, there's pottery, there's art glass. Oh, I did buy clothing buttons. I hope they're in this box. This still has the price on it, so I'll just hold the tag. One of the largest and most beautiful natural amethyst I'd seen in sterling in a long time. I loved the glow of the stone. Again, contemporary, you know, not what I'm used to buying, but it was, I think it was like $20. And as soon as I saw the construction of that, I said, oh, 100%. You know, now I don't hold out for potential money on such things. I just, what do I say? I price it so it goes, you know. Could I get $125? Sure. Would I be comfortable with $85? Absolutely. More contemporary as well. Boy, I did reach for a lot of contemporary, but this was super cheap. 14 karat gold. Sign down in here, sterling silver base and 14 karat gold, solid 14 karat gold. Look at those diamonds across the surface, and that solid 14 karat gold set down into sterling silver. I love the directionalness of that the cross was running across the finger. I just thought that was classy and very strong, very bold. And you would expect at an antique show, the only thing I'd be buying is antique. But we will get into that, because here's a classic example, and there's another classic example. Now I'm starting to get into them, but the box is full, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get everything that I bought into the show. This was on a table for, I think this one was $25. But that's butterfly wing, underneath crystal, and then reverse pressed crystal, glass, and then reverse painted in that kind of sulfide style, like the old sulfide, and that's just technically reverse painted on glass, and then inset with that electric blue butterfly wing. These are always English. Let's see here if it's signed. Is it signed on the back? Oh, there it is. Sterling silver, England. Beginner's luck. Look how small it is. But there's the tube hinge. I always talk about the tube hinges. There's the tube hinge, meaning it's a hinge made out of tubing, and then applied pin stem, and just a simple rollover there. Right at the, turn of last century, 1900, 1910. People always say, oh, that's Victorian, because of the simple rollover. No, I could make a simple rollover today, and it's 2024. So those people that only date their items by a little C or rollover or go crazy, it's like, don't go crazy. Don't do it, because it doesn't make you look smart. It just doesn't, because the history of jewelry, things change over time. This is Victorian. Again, I have my tag on here of what I paid. Gold filled, you could tell by that oxidation in the wear. The wear on the solder seams, that oxidation here and there, that's definitely gold filled. But what I bought it for is this. This is a Victorian rock crystal fob, and look at that bird carrying a love letter. Let me turn it around this way. So that's an intaglio, and look at that bird carrying a love letter, or a book, or a token of appreciation, or a postcard. But look at that. I hope you can see it. Look at that little note that bird or peace dove is carrying to a loved one. And that was a wax seal. That's carved down in the rock crystal. And now you can get a real close view of my cuticles as well. I'm sure I'll get some hate mail on that. And then what I do with it is I just put it in the garbage where it belongs. Any sort of hate mail I get, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that today. I'm not doing it ever. You know, you already know that. So this one, I don't know. I don't know the stones yet. I'm sure, well, I'm not sure of anything on this style of stone, but I would well imagine synthetic or altered with heat, irradiated. Could be a natural gemstone. You know, as soon as I saw it, I hadn't been familiar with anything that goes yellow to green like that, and especially divided like that. You know, I'd think it's ametrine, you know, and maybe it's in the amethyst family, and then altered in some way that I'm not familiar with. 18 karat gold, applied balls of metal, which is solid 18 karat gold, and then applied and soldered down to sterling silver. But that was a yes. That was in a pile of stuff, signed here, sterling 18 karat. I think they just missed the mark. But look at the construction on that chain again, and a toggle. I don't know. This trip, you know, the last time I was at the Scots, I bought so much antique, and then I did say to someone, I said, you know, the thing is with my business, if I only sold antique jewelry, I'd be out of business. You know, that's just the truth. This one has the tag on it, and again, I'm going to hide that for now. And what I was in love with on this one, highly unusual cameo, carved from real life. I'll bring this back into a different video and we'll discuss material and age and quality. Look at the signature up underneath here of the artisan that carved this cameo. It was misidentified by the dealer, and I won't make a comment on how bad it was misidentified, but greatly misidentified. It's a very early cameo, extremely early. There's the tube hinge on this side, Victorian, and look how far that pin stem extends past that little, again, C rollover or C clasp, I guess you should say, because there is no technical rollover, but scrolled. And what I loved about this is the oxidation, and that was a real life portrait of this person, carved specifically for either a loved one or this person, which now has been frozen in time, and almost wants to tell us a story. Doesn't her face look like she wants to tell us something? Something's on her mind. She's youthful. But look at how realistic, and that's a real person. That's not a cameo that was carved like Athena, Mercury, the chariots, the horses, the Roman and Grecian gods and goddesses, the stories. You know, this one is so much more personal, and you can feel that in this. You can absorb that kind of love and skill and care and magic that cameo carver had. Look at her face. That had to come home with me. And I didn't make the dealer. I encouraged the dealer to do a package deal. So I didn't want to buy this. And so I said, if I purchase this other piece the other piece was $550. And I said, if I purchase this other piece, can we work out a deal so this is like included in a way? Like, can you is that possible? Because I don't want to purchase this. And he said, absolutely, yes. So it came home with me, not free, but as a package deal. I'm looking outside right now and I'm distracted by the fact that we are getting so much snow right now. And normally I'm distracted by squirrels, but they're bedded down right now. They're just chilling out. They're like, we don't want to be out in this. Wow, it's really coming down out there. So thank you for keeping me company today, and thank you for warming my heart on a really cold Ohio day. These two I don't want to talk about. This I don't want to talk about. You might ask yourself, well, if you didn't want to talk about it, why are we here? These, I went crazy I can show you like in the bags here, let's do this. And then I'll save the other pieces for another video because I can. I should take this off of here. I'm going to start, all right, I'll just leave it on. This is what I paid for it, $65. And this was from my dealer friend, Cindy, who I've known Cindy since I'd probably say, I'd have to ask her, but probably since I was 16. And Cindy is she's a delightful vendor, antique dealer, and she does estate sales in the Cleveland area, where I'm originally from. And I've maintained all of my friendships in the business. And it's not just for my benefit. And I don't know how to explain it any other way because it's a reciprocal. So once you're my friend, I keep you. I don't want to lose people. That's just truthful. And when little things come up, you just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, it's just today. But me and Cindy have been very close for a long time. And this is peacock glass. Some people call it peacock eye glass, and that's totally true. So blue and green and fabulous. Again, I'll tell you, it's from the Czech Republic. It's from the Jablonec area. And I've done videos on that before, but that's technically Jablonec glass, and so beautifully set in this sash pin that's made to look like a buckle. And its only job was, this is totally Victorian, 1890, 1895, just before 1900 on this one. And very thick pin stem, so that's made to go through a very heavy fabric, whether it be just for a sash or a cummerbund of the time, or if that went through a big velvet or fur coat to be like a hasp or a buckle style brooch to hold that together. Beautifully modeled brass, might I say. I loved the intricacy and the overlapping of design. Have I seen these before? Sure. Would I normally reach for them or go crazy? Nope. But this one, the artistry and the craft, I would say retail on this probably closer to like 150, 175. And the reason why is that peacock eye glass is so large. And look how that metal goes over and folds over that bezel's set stone. So they had to set the stone in there in a bezel by hand, and then they had to fold that metal over. The forward-thinking progress of putting that together was amazing, and to think that it was that old. I loved that, and that was fantastic. This one I had seen before. I have to show you this carved head, too. I bought this really interesting carved head. We got to do this one. I'm going to lay some stuff. Oh, we should probably do some of this, too. All right, and we should probably do these. Oh, look at these. I bought these for really cheap. They're citrine hearts, and there's a whole thing of them. And that was lot 25 at an auction, but it wasn't $25. But look at those citrines. Yeah. Oh, does anyone want to see some of the Bakelite I bought? I bought a whole stack of Bakelite. And there's some of what I bought. There's a nice stack of Bakelite. And I had bought the 3 from one person, and I bought the 4 from another person. And look how cool that looks together. And listen to that. Don't you love that sound? It sounds like money to me. Sounds like beauty. This one I got for $5. A wide lime green for $5. I said yes. I said, yeah, I'm going to make a little bit. So not every... Oh, we'll talk about these in another video. Remember these, rock crystal, amethyst, and gold beads. Let's remember those. I'll bring those back. That'll be a teaser. Oh, let's talk about this. And then these other bags that are loaded, like, you have to understand. All right, I'll show you this one really quick. There's like loads. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads from the sale. And then there's 3 more bags of rings. I forgot to talk about these. Oh, I forgot to talk about this. All right, hold on. I'll talk about this. I'll talk about that, and then we're going to call it. Here, let's go with the obvious things I want to talk about. All right, I'm going to try and keep this to maybe 45 minutes. Turquoise. And this nice gentleman was so kind to me. He was great. And his name is Dan. And I said, how am I going to remember you, Dan? And I said, not only because you're kind and you're hilarious, but how am I going to remember you? And he said, I'm Dan the Silverman. And I said, oh, I'll never forget you, Dan. So Dan the Silverman sold me these turquoise and shell beads, and I loved them because they were old. I loved the slight graduation, and I really loved that color saturation of the turquoise nuggets. Thought that those were just great. Couple little chips here and there. That's to be expected on old turquoise that was, not really made for us, And then that old style sterling clasp on that almost sinew thread. Really fantastic. Totally genuine as well. Lots of reproductions of that lately. So just be careful. Know your source. Just be careful on turquoise. That's all I can say. And if you love turquoise, please go over to my other video that I did on my turquoise cuffs. I am going to do a video on my turquoise rings. This is interesting. Now, So I'm very impatient when I shop. I like no, I shouldn't say that. If I am having luck in a booth, I'll stay put. Like if you're gambling, you stay at the slot if you're winning. If you're not, you get up and leave. I I was impatient with this, and I'm glad I was finally patient for the first time in 50 years. I saw this in a showcase, and I did freak out because I had to have it. And I said to the gentleman, oh, so there was no one in the booth because it's set up. And there was very nice gentleman set off to the right-hand side. And I said, excuse me, sir, do you happen to know whose stuff this is? And he pointed like way over. And I saw another guy like way over. So I went over and I said, hey, can I see in this case? And he said, oh, sure, no problem. So I came over and he said, she's not here right now, but I can show you anything you want to see. But if it's not priced, I can't sell it to you. And so I said, okay, well, anyways, long story short, she finally came back, and then so priced. Look at this for hard stone. I don't want to say too much. What I will say is the sensitivity of the carving, the skill in the craft, the design, this kind of intertwined creature, snake, at the headpiece, the wear of the stone, like the high points and that honest wear of the stone, I know that it's been around. I know that that's been around for quite some time. I loved the profile of the face. I love the sensitivity to the conically drilled nostrils, the sensitivity to the conically drilled hole there. See how that's like a hand-drilled conical hole? See how it's bigger at the top and then gets smaller as it goes in? Then carved from the opposite side. Conically drilled, meaning you drill here and you drill here and it meets in the middle, because they knew that if they drilled all the way through, this would break off. So conically drilled. Look at the surface of this as well. I don't see modern, quote, modern tooling, modern file marks, modern hand. This could be extremely important. Hard stone stays very dark green, like a spinach green color. And this is the biggest I've seen. So these are the things that slow me down at shows. And I always say, I'm looking for the needle in the haystack. This could quite possibly be a needle in the haystack. With further research, I'll keep you posted because you always love my update videos. But yes, there was something that I already knew this was coming home with me. Like as soon as I saw the way the profile was treated, the way the design was handled, the size and the skill that it took to carve and finish this. Are you kidding? For such a hard material, for such a hard stone. Origin of the stone, not sure. And I do have my notion of tribe that was constructing such things. So I will slow down with that, and I'll keep you posted. I'm surprised that I actually just showed that, because normally I don't show those things. I do the research first, and then I bring it on, But that's like total full transparency on my channel. This I wish I could get into more, but I'll just say that I went crazy. And bought these beads, and then I bought these beads. And what else did I buy there? Oh, I bought this, Larimar. Had to, because as soon as I saw that Larimar, where ocean meets the sky, glacial, ancient glaciers, sterling, gigantic Larimar. I normally don't go after Larimar. Had to do this one too. This is Super 7. So remember this, that's Super 7, or I forget what now the term is, but that's 7 different minerals that grow into one stone. It's like amethyst and coxonite or coxonite, or however they pronounce it, rock crystal, this and that. There's 7 different minerals. I wish I knew the combination, but I always say it, I don't care what they are. It's beautiful, sterling, and very Native American inspired for design. Love it, love it, love it. Natural emeralds. Does anyone want a natural emerald bracelet? Probably diamonds as well. So that was a yes. Was that a huge score? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, it was. Was this one pretty magnificent? Yeah, that one's pretty magnificent too. That was a yes. These earrings. This is just going to be, I'm just going to show you. And then I'm going to jet for the day, because I do have other things I have to get done. These are complete. And I always attribute these to Dishta. And, it's probably true on these. So if you did that for research, they're just great. All of the bottom drops are there. Wish I could put those on a little earring stand to show you. Need to get those out of there. Turquoise, old. This one. Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, that mounting. Yep. If you gave me that amber stone and told me to mount it this way, I would do it. It would take me a little while, and I would charge you probably quite a bit of money. And as soon as I saw it, and I thought, oh, I can't make that for less than that. Solid sterling mounting and very angular, very, very stylistic on that. Loved it. If it didn't have the circles on the side, I probably wouldn't have done it. I probably would have not have done it. God, am I sinusy today too? This one. Oh yeah. Yep. Okay. That's where I started that buying trip with him, with this gentleman. And I said, what is that? And he's like, I don't know. And I said, I'm buying it. That's what that is. Look at the mounting too. What? What? And then this one. I had one just like it that I sold. And now I got another one. The other one was a much bigger size. Aquamarine, blue diamond, and it's so incredible. Absolutely incredible. Who's the designer? I don't know. I didn't care. I didn't look up the designer. I didn't care. I didn't look at who it was. Didn't matter. Didn't care. This one's diamonds. And then you can see this whole bag is completely full. And then you're like, can you show us everything? This I need to clean up. But look at that for diamonds. That's just super cool for that Bombay style. So graphic, so bold, and little pave set diamonds. Not sure what the black material is, besides dirty and disgusting. So there's that baby. Oh yeah. Yes, thank you. Design. I think this shows you that I don't buy by age, craft. I buy by craft. I don't buy by age. I buy by craft. Look at that. Yep. Okay. Stone. And then look at this one. I don't usually get into micro pave, but what? What on earth? Did I knock a stone out? Is that a stone that's already knocked out? Hold on. Oh no, that's just disgusting. Who knows what? That's like food. Ew, gross. So that's just that's someone's SpaghettiOs. I don't know what my problem is. I had to be funny today too, because last night when it gets quiet and it gets cold, I almost knocked my whole light box over. Look at that for Praisiolite. Yeah, absolutely. Contemporary. Yeah, should I have bought it at an antique show? No, but when I got the price and I said, yes, 100%, because the size of it. Oh, tanzanites. Yeah, tanzanite, natural. Little diamonds on that one. Yep. Okay, I think, fluorite, by the way. Fluorite, and I need to polish that just a little bit. Let's see if it wipes off with my shirt, because I use my shirt for everything. Yeah, fluorite and banded. Sterling. So unusual. Check. Great mounting. Absolutely. Could I have bought it for less somewhere else? No, absolutely not. Some sterling chains. So it's just loaded. I don't know what else to say. I just got a text message from a YouTuber that I've been missing. Oh my God, I miss her. So I have to go, and these are emerald. These are emerald beads, and this is strung in India with that cable and adjustable at the top here. Really well done. Exceptionally well done, but those are natural emerald beads. Are they the world's best emerald? No. Are they old and more vintage? Absolutely. So I love those emerald beads. Okay, and then look at these. I hope everyone's still here with me. I hope I didn't bore anyone out of their mind. I have to bring that buckle back. All right, I have to bring the buckle back. I just remembered. Look at these for emerald beads. What is going on? In silver, and then accented with some gold foil, and then those melon carved mogul style natural emerald beads. Are you kidding? And this, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So I had a really good moment. These were $40. $40. So I know all of you are like probably throwing a temper tantrum and like going crazy, but I might wear these for a while. I'm not a gold guy, but I might wear those for a little while because that's great. When I went to the international gem shows years ago, I always I'll say this, where where I received a lot of my knowledge and my basic education was from going to shows and touching things. I would go to the gem shows and I would touch these and hold these. And I would say, back then they'd be like, I don't know, $800 or $1,200. And I would say, oh, someday, maybe I'll find those. Maybe I'll see those again someday where they're like misidentified or they're just not thought of highly or revered by a reseller. And that was the day here. That was this moment. So, but then I bought these for a really good bargain, and then I got, I went crazy and I bought all this from the same person just because I had such a good deal on these. So when you get a good deal, continue to shop with that person and build that relationship. The next time I see him, I'm gonna buy as much as I possibly can from him because I'm really delighted with the relationship that I had with him, and he was super cool. He was just, there's some people that you just click with, and then there's other people, like there was another gentleman there that I walked into his booth, and I was not really, not that I wasn't interested in the item, but there was a little bit of misinformation, and he said something was gold, and I don't want to fight with people. His item wasn't gold, and I don't know if he knew it or not, but it wasn't gold. It was gold filled, and he opened the case and he was kind of throwing stuff around, and I've had my moments of not wanting to be bothered or something when I'm setting up, but just say something like, I'm not set up yet, come back in a little bit, no problem, I will, Moody Jones, but he was just, I'll say it, he was just such a dick, and so I didn't go back and I didn't buy from him. But when I do have that relationship with someone, I'll spend tens of thousands with them throughout, a lifetime of buying. And that gentleman made up for the ill will of the fellow man and the dealers that were setting up that morning. Anyways, this is either Whiting and Davis. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is either Whiting or Davis. Whiting and Davis or Mandalian. And I'm not sure which. Let me lay it down. Let me get it in here. I used to collect and buy these mesh bags all the time, and there's just something so beautiful and something so gorgeous about them and so elegant. This one has the very bold enameled frame on both sides, beautiful top clasp here. And then the enameling, I wish you could see it better, but it's in literally perfect condition. Always look and make sure the enameling on these enameled bags is in really good condition, because it does really drop the price if it's not. So just make sure that all the enamel and all the color is there. And I loved this overall field and this almost chevron or diamond pattern, like snakeskin, orange and turquoise and white and black, and some hints of like a mauve pink. There was something about this that as soon as I saw it, the size, the quality, and everything, and I was like, I gotta buy that. I'm trying to get out of buying those, and it just, I couldn't walk away. The condition was great. That little armpit area I talk about down in here was fantastic, where there's normally wear. Look there and just make sure that there's no gaping holes. That's acceptable. That's normal, and that is acceptable. That's normal. If you see it bigger than that and you see a lot of wear on that, just stay away from it. Is this signed anywhere? I don't know. I never looked. No, it's not signed. So I would well imagine it's Whiting and Davis, because there would have been a little hang tag right here. I don't think it's Mandalian. I think that's Whiting and Davis. Whatever it is, it's fabulous. And then check the mesh to make sure there's no wear. That is in really outstanding condition. The age on that, probably early 20s on this specific bag. 1922, 1924. By 1930, no. This was only $50. And retail on that, I know I'd get for a bag that size and that condition, $165 easy, no problem. So I was going to make $115, just by buying something so beautiful and something so simple. This one I had seen out at Rogers Flea Market, and this gentleman, he's known me for a long time, and I was joking with him as soon as I walked in the booth, and he was laughing. It was very early in the morning. I think it's probably by 7 o'clock. And Jeremy and I looked at it, and I was like, oh yes, oh absolutely, Jeremy, we're doing it. So there's those immediate buys, and this is one of them. Lapis, untreated lapis, pearls, And the color of lapis and the way that those stones are just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And I would have thought, oh, is that sodalite? Is that sodalite? Nope, nope. So amethyst, and look at those secondary deposits in these large, extremely large, faceted stones. Really remarkable. Fantastic stones of that. Just absolutely gorgeous. I loved it. I said yes. And the way it's constructed out of solid sterling. Don't always trust a mark, but look at the solder seams and then you can tell, oh yes, that is totally sterling silver all the way through, and that the stones are even faceted on the back. This needs a really good cleaning, but I loved the attention to detail, and I really loved this a lot. You could tell that this one had been, late 80s, early 90s construction. The thing that I would see again when I would go to the gem shows, and then I would say, well, someday, I'm going to find that for under, the $500 they were asking in the 80s, and values on this have went up because the raw goods, the stones and the raw goods are very expensive, and sterling this thick. I wish you could feel this. I wish you could feel this in your hands, because the finish on it and the way it's crafted, this is magnificent, even for contemporary. More of the antique pieces that I bought, and then I'll bring the buckle back. So this box, as soon as I saw the box, I knew what was in it. And this was a very nice gentleman. Oh, I'll show the price. It's fine. I'll show the price, because these I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to sell these. And then let's move this over so I don't forget. And these I'm not going to sell. These are sterling silver clothing buttons. And you might ask yourself, did they really make sterling silver clothing buttons? You bet they did. You bet yourself they did. These are sterling. And let's see here. Oh, I wish I could zoom in on those marks. Here, let's get my dirty loop back so I can get some more hate mail. Let's see here. There's the sterling marks there. You're not going to be able to see them. Oh, there we go. There you go. There's the little lion facing left. There's the date letter right at the back of it. There's the origin mark. And there's the maker marks. So there you go for sterling silver. And there's the big shank, the omega shank. It's shaped like the omega symbol and soldered down. And look at the detailed work on these. These are so beautiful with that open work and whiplash clover design. They do have this gentleman said he didn't know if these were with them, and it's true. So these were toggled onto the clothing and then removed when the clothing was cleaned. So these buttons didn't stay on the outfit for, their whole life. These were always removed, and every little hole that these buttons then snap down into, let's see here, they snap down in, has the jump ring behind it that held these to the clothing as I fidget with them. So they're all there. All the jump rings are there that then bind these to the outfit, so they're all there. And there was an extra one right here. He attributed these to Henry, it looks like Mathby's, and it says circa 1901, Birmingham, England, and he so correctly identified. I did not find any information on this that was incorrect, so I fully believe that these are 1901 Art Nouveau sterling silver clothing buttons. And let me say this, when I walked up, I said, as a button collector, an advanced button collector, I said these would be 50 a piece. Like if I went to the button shows and we didn't find the whole set, this would be 50 sets, 100, 200, 300, and he had it at 165. For the set of 6. I know for a fact that if I called my button people and I broke the set up and sold them at 50 or 65 a piece, I would get it. I would sell out. And I have now probably 15 people, so there's only 6 of them, and I would call 6 people and they'd say, yes, I want one. Yes, I want one. Yes, I want one. And at 65 a piece, see what I'm saying? So 165, even if I paid that for it, then I double my money. It's not always about doubling my money in the business, and I have talked briefly about that. If you want any further information in my videos about how I've constructed like my collection, or what I do in my business, or how I sold on eBay, or how I sold local at antique malls or antique shows, I've been a veteran at this for a long time, so if you want more transparency in pricing, or what I sold things for, or how I do my business, I'd be glad to do that, and I'd be glad to tell you more information on that. I don't know if that's information that people really need at this point. But if you do, I'd be glad to do it. But, so that's 100, 200, 300. I think by the time he was done, he sold them to me for 120. I believe they were 120. And I let him make that decision on discount. I did not encourage or, ever force that. But it's in its fitted box. And let me explain this too. I'll commit these to my collection. These weren't really something I felt like I wanted to break apart. If I do go to sell them, I will keep them as a set. I just think that historically that's very important because most of these sets are being broken apart. And really, who needs sterling silver clothing buttons, nowadays? But look at how beautiful the box is with those two kind of hasps that hook over to hold this shut. Leather bound as well. So I just knew as soon as I saw the box, oh, that's either going to be a pen, a pen, a cigarette holder. It's going to be something very elegant, and I thought they're probably buttons, more than likely. And sure enough, they are buttons. But that's like, that's like first class of the Titanic. That's first class of the wealth of that time period, circa 1900, between 1900 and 1910. Okay. Speaking of 1900 and 1910, Art Nouveau has always been one of my most sought-after time periods that I've loved the most. And this is a classic example of Art Nouveau. And because of time in the video, I'm going to bring this back on and talk about this in another video. But I had known of this buckle. It's a belt buckle, so we'll start with form. It was a belt buckle that would be sewn onto fabric here, and then the big sash, the big ribbon, would go around the waist, and it would hook on this side. So it's just a simple brass hook that would hook onto this, and then you see that this is bent to form to the waist, to form to the human body. So the skill and the craft that was there to form this peacock feather around the body is truly amazing. I don't think this is ever done in another form. I don't think some of these at the turn of the century were done in other forms, like a sash pin, a big brooch. I don't think this form was ever designed in another thing. Now I'm gonna really not pronounce this correctly, but the artist is Piel and then Ferrer. Piel Ferrer. Now, my French is terrible. I'll just say it. I'm from a cornfield in Ohio, and like I touched on in the other video, you have people who spent like a week in England, and then they come back to the States and they spell color with a U. Highly annoying. But for Piel Ferrer, very well known. He exhibited in the Paris Decorative Arts exhibition of 1889 to 1890. And in the exhibition, he exhibited this same buckle. And it's known and it's documented. Marked Deposé here, marked with his artist signature there. Okay, commit that to memory. It's a very important maker's mark. So this is all glass, enamel, and brass. I should have covered that. That's brass, and that's glass enamel that's so carefully fired on. Yes, there's chips, and yes, there's wear. After all, look, the person wore this as a buckle. It pulled on the fabric, and that's kind of out of sorts there. This buckle was worn by the woman of extreme wealth. Not only of extreme wealth, but knew what true artistry and wearable adornment was. This glass cabochon is the most electric cobalt blue I've ever seen. Look at the lightning shooting through that stone. And then that high gloss foil that went, high gloss enamel that was foiled underneath with silver foil. I lose my words sometimes when I see these things. There has been some light restoration to the enamel. When I got this was sprayed over with a very disgusting lacquer. And I told the gentleman that sold it to me, I said, this has been lacquered, this has been altered. And they wanted the whole thing to look like that glass enamel, so it's high gloss. I brought it home and I stripped off most of that. Very carefully, I stripped off that because this was always meant to be matte finish. And then that punch of silver foil to punch that surface and to make that look the way it does. Look at the undulation of form. Art Nouveau was feminine, whiplash, naturalistic, gorgeous, based on nature, based on flowing designs. This, just as soon as I saw it in the case, I thought, I've got to go home with that. Let me prop this up and zoom in while I go and reach for my book. So I came home and I said, I know I've seen that in one of my books. I can't find the book that I saw this in, but what I can say is I found one example online, and it's on sale. Well, quote on sale. It's being sold for, if you do a screenshot, it's being sold for $9,100. I don't, I'm not gonna knock someone's pricing. I don't think it's worth 9,100. I know it's extremely rare. There weren't very many made. It's very early. It's Art Nouveau. It's by a notable maker. He was in the Paris Decorative Arts exhibition that was very important, where like Lalique and Fouquet and all the top designers of Art Nouveau were exhibiting in these Paris salons and in these Paris exhibitions and international exhibitions. And so to be from that threshold of maker and designer, it is very historically important. I don't think many have survived. The last one that I saw at auction sold in 2011. I think it closed for $1,500, not pounds. I think $1,500, and that was 2011. And we know that the value has escalated very quickly. So in my heart of hearts, I still think it's worth, between 3,000 and 4,000, and that's a real good guess, because when things don't come up for auction very often, what has the market done? How many more of these are there in the world, and how desirable is it? It's not a wearable piece of jewelry. It's something that needs to be put behind glass and revered as what it is. An adornment from years ago, and to transcend just brass and glass. So think about this. There's really, quote, no value in what's been done here. And the value is in the artistry. The value is in the legacy that left behind of this artist who was notable and who was known and left his mark. I think that's the goal of any artist that's lived, that's touched lives and changed lives by such beauty. But I'll leave that there, and I will here, we'll scoot this over here. Let me put the book in, and I raced home. So this is oh boy, this is way too close, but this is the Art Nouveau. Let me zoom back out a little bit. This is the Art Nouveau jewelry book by Vivienne Becker. And if you don't have this book, please get it. Let me move this somewhere safe. I can already sense what's going to happen. And I don't want to drop that. So if you don't have this book, pick it up. This edition was, I'm sorry to flip through like that. Please forgive me. Let's see here. This edition was 1985, I think. 1985. This book is outstanding, and there are examples of the work that this gentleman accomplished. Is this one of them? Why did I mark this one? Let's see here. Oh, I went and I saw this in real life. This is by René Lalique. Let me zoom in. That's by René Lalique. I actually went and I saw this in real life. It's in the Baltimore, the Walters Art Gallery in Baltimore. And I thought that this was, I drove specifically to see this in real life. I thought that this was, like, I don't know, 2 inches, and then I thought this was maybe 3 inches across or something. This was the size of an orchid. It was like 9.5 inches across or 10 inches across. This in real life it changed my mind changed my life. This one, I need to see this one in real life too. So I marked that as a goal of what I need to see. Let's see here. I would like to see the Grand Canyon too. Let's see here. And then we're going to call it, but let's see where his information is. Oh, I sure hope this fits in here. So here's his information. And then it gives all the information on, the Paris exhibition of 1900. And you can read that for yourself if you can see that. I can't go down anymore because we're already, this is already smashed inside of the box. And before I ruin the whole video, this is the information here. And then did give information. It says, let's see here. Where did it say? Oh, it says right here. The designs were excellent, and they were known particularly for their range of buckles and for an impressive gilt and enamel peacock feather buckle. And that was illustrated in 1901, but it had been made, pre-turn of the century. And I looked up baseline information on that, and I think it was Gabrielle Stalin. I think she was one of the people that worked with him. Yeah, Gabrielle Stalin was one of the designers that worked with the organization that then produced these more affordable versions of, a Lalique piece that was, there at the exhibitions. And I wish I could go in on his signature and hallmark, but there's that. So it's interesting that when people have asked me, do you have things that are in books? And, I don't like the term book piece because it really kind of labels, it restricts things so drastically is what I'll say. And I don't like that term. I just don't. But this was very special. And I'll say this much, because of being there at the show, if this was the only thing that I walked out with as a testament to me as an advanced collector, I said to myself, boy, this was a great day. So I hope you understand. And if you see this mark, if you see that mark, know that you're in the presence of greatness. It is a little bit worn. There we go. It's a little bit worn away, but it's a P and an F. And there's something in between. Let's see here. Yeah, there's a P and an F. There's like almost a sword handle. Let's go in. There's the P and the F, and then there's like this applied sword handle, and there's the Deposé mark. So hopefully you can see that. But look, this was worn. This lovely lady back then wore this, and she wore so much of that away. She loved this. This was her favorite buckle, and who could blame her? She was a very lucky lady. And well over 125 years ago. It's just amazing. Absolutely breathtaking. And I thank you all so much for joining in. Please continue to hit like and subscribe. And again, I so appreciate all of your time. You know how I end this usually? And on a very cold day, you've lightened my mood. You've filled my heart. You've encouraged me. You've pushed me forward. And I so thank you for encouraging such videos and for allowing me to share what I do on a daily basis. It's a great honor to be here with every single one of you. And don't forget it. It's as simple as for me to say, I love you because I do.